So I am currently now in my car. Let me try and get the angle right on this. Yes, I'm currently in my car, but we got to talk about the WNBA CBA stuff. We got to talk about that right now, and I gotta be real here. This is some crazy news. So much crazy news that I've got my seatbelt on. I'm strapped up. Like, I'm strapped in right now, but realistically, it is very, very clear that the WNBPA leadership are trying to sabotage the players. And I'm not saying like they're trying to do anything to destroy the league and sabotage players. I mean that they are trying to sabotage players to make sure that no players speak out, because everybody knows that the United Front thing was important. But they're trying to use these like generic United Front things to be like you're anti-player, you're anti-union. Realistically, we all know what that means, where it's like it means a bit more than that in this scenario because of what the league has prided itself on being an activist league. Almost like, oh, you're actually anti-women and all of these things. So players are scared to speak up, and it's very clear here. You can see here, the players are not being told about negotiations. So all of that stuff you can read from this article here. I'm not going to go through too much of it. So all of the stuff when it comes down to it about the players, the PA submitting the same proposal twice, the players never saw that. The players never saw the proposals. They weren't even showing the proposals to the players. Anytime any member of the PA executive committee expressed concern, like you see all those meetings that were had. There were multiple meetings from the PA executive committee members that expressed concern about the PA. So what did they do? They made sure nothing could be said at these meetings because they opened up the meetings and 50 players showed up. So Breanna Steward, even at All-Star Weekend, is pissed off. She's pissed off at the PA being like, why are there 50 players at this meeting? Nothing gets done. So every single meeting, the PA are bringing in 50 players so that nothing can get done. So that no actual discussion can be had because the players... because you bring in 50 players who are also scared to go against the PA because they don't want to be seen as the scab. They're scared to give their actual opinion because they don't want to be seen as the scab. And that's one of the things, and that is why Stewie and Kelsey Plum released. That's why they released it to ESPN. Because all these players that are being scared about being called a scab are getting on to Stewie and Kelsey Plum being like, what the fuck is going on? We might not have a league. And like Kelsey Plum and Stewie are like, we've literally just got a rev split, guaranteed revenue. Like we've got, for the first time ever, we got guaranteed revenue. And because you guys are more focused on buzzwords and the word gross revenue, and by the way, let's be real. Let's be completely real. If the league are not cooking the books, if the league is able to bring in as much revenue as the players think, the 70% net revenue versus 30% gross revenue is going to even out. That is going to even out. If the league will grow to the extent the players will, and this is the hilarious thing about this, is that the reason why the owners won't offer gross revenue is because of the ownership structure and it minimizes risk on their part. The net revenue structure, actually, I was looking through the numbers. If the league keeps continuing at its current rate of growth, even with its pre-Caitlin Clark injury growth from 2025, it's like which is like 24, 25, which is like 10% extra. If it grows by 10% a year, the net rev versus gross rev that they receive, in terms of merch and everything, not that it evens out necessarily, but it's 70% of net rev. It's close to it. But the thing is, when it comes down to it, is that the gross rev was never going to happen because, as well, the players want to up operating costs. Like charter flights eat into revenue. And potential profits, and it's like the league are never going to sign that, and we all know about that. But at the end of the day, they still have a revenue sharing split for the first time ever, and it's guaranteed. There's no targets. There's no net rev targets. They get it guaranteed. So you got Kelsey Plum and Stewie are like, holy shit, this is a win. Let's start negotiating off their proposal and not demand they start negotiating off our proposal, because we can get, like, I'm realist. I've always said this from the start, that I thought that the Players Association were demanding gross revenue because if they stuck to that for so long, they would have the ability to negotiate their salary cap up. They'd have the ability to negotiate everything. And I still fully believe that if the players went back to the league and said, okay, we'll accept the net revenue split, but we want 7 million salary cap. Keep the max contracts the same. It gives mid-tier players their ability. And by the way, everyone's talking about mid-tier players this, mid-tier players that. Dude, the literal champions had 4 max contract players and all minimum players. They had 4 max and all minimum. The mid-tier is irrelevant. Like, no matter what you do to a max contract, any team, if a team wants to give 3 players max contracts and the rest of the team minimum, you can't stop that from happening. You can't. If a team wants to give no players maximum contracts and 12 players mid-tier contracts, they can do that too. Like, you can't stop that. It's the same in the NBA. The mid-tier contract is either elite value or a poison chalice. Like, if you sign a mid-tier player to a mid-tier contract, it's either unbelievable or you're fucked. Like, it's one or the other. But like, these are all just things that the players are trying to do to try shift the blame when this goes and try to put blame on the league. And now this is clearly put the onus on the Players Association. But like, they're trying to sabotage them. It's really clear. You've seen it as well. Like Stewie and Plum have said in it that players are scared to speak. Players are scared to speak their mind at these meetings. Players are scared to speak their mind to their PA. Which everyone's like, oh, they need to have a united front. The players literally have come out and said, we are scared to talk. We are scared to talk to our own representation because they make us feel like we are anti-player. When the reality is, I've said it from the very start, and you can see this in my Alicia Clark video. The people that are pushing for the strike are the ones that are anti-player. Because the outcome of a strike is the league ends. Because you do realise if there's a strike, no 2026 season, the league needs to recoup the 200 or so million that they lost as a whole from a season that didn't go ahead. What does that mean? They come into next negotiations. Charter flights are going to be off the table. The salary is going to be max of 500k. And will the players sign off on that? Fuck no, they're not going to sign off on that. Because it's half of what they got offered the year before. And the scary thing is that to keep the league alive, they might have to sign off on half of what this current offer is. If there's a strike. Because let's be real, this is a league that is bleeding money. This is a league that's bleeding money, that there's a lot of investors that want to cut their losses and get out. Like, there is a lot of investors that want to just end this right now. And the reality is that if they have another year of huge losses, any sort of deal that looks even slightly favourable to players. And by the way, the current deal is one that I still think the players need to get more. But the current structure of it ensures the survival of the league. I'm not saying that it's the structure, like, I'm not saying that it's perfect for the players. It's not perfect for the league either. But what it does is it ensures the league survives. It ensures if there's a dip, the league survives. And it ensures that players for 20, 30 years have that league to play in. The players can absolutely go for gross revenue in a few years. But it ensures the survival of the league. What the players want means that if the league doesn't grow as they expect, or as they believe, if Caitlin tears her ACL, the league ends. Like, we're actually at that stage now where, by the way, the TV deal probably gets ripped up if there's a strike as well. So they have to negotiate a new TV deal. And with in my opinion, they undershot their TV deal in 2024. They undershot it because of the Caitlin Clark boom. The thing is that if we're being real, the Caitlin Clark boom, that mania is over. I'm not saying Caitlin Clark's relevancy is over or anything. I'm saying the mania is over. It's unlikely that they get a 200 million deal TV again. And even if they do, again, the league needs to recoup 100 million revenue. It needs to recoup, 100 million losses. And when you take into account revenue, they need to find that from somewhere, even with the TV deal, because of the up cost and everything and what they want for the retired players. It is what it is. And look, at the end of the day, I'm going to talk about this. It looks like the older players are trying to burn it down on the way out. But it's very, very clear from this that any potential concerns that any player had with the PA, what the PA ended up doing was, it's like, we'll have a meeting. But everyone can show up at the meeting. Like, could you imagine? Like, I can guarantee you, and I'm not saying that this individual player did it because I don't know, but there are other players without question that have the mentality of Natasha Cloud. Could you imagine going to this meeting and there's 10 Natasha Cloud type players being like, we're not moving, and being a 22-year-old being like, well, I have to retire. I might have to retire. Like, I might have to use my communications degree. What fucking job am I going to get from communications? Like, might have to use my degree. Like, that's the thing. And players sit in these meetings, oh, it's cool, we can just chill on Unrivaled. We have Unrivaled, we can chill. Like 40 of them. But yeah, look, this is This is sabotage on the side of the PA. They're trying to sabotage their members that are trying to speak out against them. It's sabotage. Like, they have done multiple things. By not showing the players any proposals, by putting in bullshit proposals so that the league doesn't respond. At the end of the day, the players think activism and public sentiment and everything and getting politicians involved is going to change anything, but it's not, and they know that. Like, that's the thing. There are people in the league that would rather see it burn down in a feat of activism than have it grow as a basketball league, because there are a lot of people involved that couldn't give a flying fuck about the basketball. They're activists who happen to be good at basketball, but these young players are basketball players, and that's the way the league is going to go. The original players, by the way, the original players in the WNBA, the Swoops of the world, they were basketball players. You can be a basketball player and stand for different things. You can be a basketball player and you're an activist and be an activist. But if you're an activist first, basketball player second, and trying to turn the league into that, you're going to burn it down. And I think there's a lot of players who will gladly burn it down. And they're making sure as hell that any players that don't want to burn it down are being silenced, which is why I applaud Paige Bueckers for speaking out, which is why I applaud Angel Reese for speaking out when they said it. And it's not like Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and all these players are saying anything crazy, but they've all said the same thing. All three of Angel, Caitlin, and Paige have said the exact same thing: we need to play. I applaud Breanna Steward for coming out and saying this. At the end of the day, look, Age is too careful about her image to do that. I applaud all of those players for not being intimidated by the PA into saying exactly what they want, because at the end of the day, anyone with a brain knows they're fucked. All of them. All of them. Not only that, the future of the sport is done. They all know that if this league ends, unrivaled, I mean this, is they found out what they're actually good at, which is like being like a traveling tour and being, ironically, what Project B are trying to do. Unrivaled found out, you know what, that's actually probably the best way to run it. Unrivaled stealing Project B's flow actually seems to be the smart thing, but they're just localizing it in America. Like, Unrivaled as a summer camp doesn't work. Unrivaled as a TV experience doesn't work. Unrivaled as a traveling show absolutely does, and I'm going to make a video about that as well. Unrivaled have found out how to succeed, which is good. Complete risk, but it worked. But absolute sabotage here by the PA. Anyway, see you guys.